I'm Ustad. Do my book talk project. Just get right into it. I read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. What is the genre of the book? Explain a few pieces of evidence. So the genre of the book is definitely fantasy fiction. It One of the pieces of evidence is that it takes place in Norta, a kingdom that is ruled by monarchy, which does not exist. So that means that it is if fiction. Um, and One other piece of evidence is that there are people who bleed iridescent silver-colored blood. That is also fiction, and those same people. Another piece of evidence is that those same people, they have superpowers, and those abilities are not normal, and that is a part of fantasy, which means that it is a fantasy fiction of the book of the fantasy fiction genre with those three pieces of evidence. List the characters and describe them. So I'm going to start off with our main character, Mare Barrows. So Mare is a very very quick girl. She has a sharp tongue. She doesn't like authority, especially the Silvers. She despises the Silvers, because they basically like rule over the Reds of Iron Fist. Uh, she hates she hates sitting idly. She doesn't like sitting down and like learning stuff because that's kind of boring. She's like very adventurous or whatever. And she's very, she ends up to authority a lot. She hates authority and like organizations, or whatever. All right, next character is Maven. He's the son. He's one of the princes. He's one of two princes in the story. It, he is supposed to be he's supposed to be engaged to Mare Barrows, who disguises herself as Marina Titanos. Um, he's supposed to be engaged to Mare Barrows, and he is very a jealous person. He is a backstabber, and he is um yeah, he's very a jealous. He's a backstabber, and he's a really good actor. That person is Cal, whose real name is Tiberius the seventh or sixth, I don't know. But he's the son of the king. He's the heir to the throne, and that is what makes Maven jealous. So Cal is a very strong person. He's like one of the strongest people with his powers. He's a very muscular. Um, he he takes his role very seriously. He wants to be like he's very involved in like military strategies or like plannings or whatever. Next question. Uh, Explain the setting, time, and place. So it says in the book that Mare it doesn't give us an exact time that the set that the story is taking place in, but it says that Mare is born in November of 300 of the year 302 of the new era. So that means that is that at least in the 300s in the year 300. And since Mare is like 17, 18 years old, that means it is at least in the year 319. So it is 300 at least 309 the year 319 of the new era in the book. It takes place in the kingdom of Norta. Norta as in Norta. What other books of the author? And so the author has also written Glass Sword, which is a sequel. It's a sequel. It's a sequel to Red Queen. So Glass Sword comes after Red Queen, and she's also Victoria Aveyard has also written two other books that are prequels to these. They're called Queen Song and Steel Scars. Steel Scars. Describe five major events in the book in order. Think of story arc. So I'd say the first major event in the book is when Mare and her sister are in a silver square or in a silver town square, and a terrorist attack happens, and the terrorist attack is committed by the Scarlet Guard. It's a group of Reds that want equality for Reds and Silvers, and a broadcast comes up saying that the Scarlet Guard says, "Oh yeah, we did that, and if you don't give Reds equality, then we'll just keep doing this." And this pisses off the Silvers in that area, and the Silvers just start going after every single helpless red servant that they can find, and they start torturing and like killing reds, any red that they can find until security like stops them. And this is what sparks Mare to meet Cal, who gives her a job at the palace. And the next event is when Mare finally get if Mare gets her powers. So while she's helping out, the Queen Stroll, while she's helping out and like serving like silver high class silvers, the Queen Stroll is going on, and she's and it's the Queen Stroll is like a candidate system where like different daughters of houses go and try to oppress the king and his princes so they can have a chance of becoming princesses, or and maybe have a chance of becoming queen one day. So while that's happening, one of the candidates is like a magnetron. They control metal and stuff. So they like start moving around the entire place, just kind of like made out of metal. And this causes Mare to fly out at the place where she's serving, and she lands on the electric field that's surrounding the arena where they're like demonstrating their powers. And this shocks her to their core, and this like gives her electric powers and like mutates her or whatever. And she becomes a red with superpowers, just like super rare, not rare, but not, it's like unheard of before. So yeah. Next one is when Mare when Mare goes out is when Mare goes out to oh wait. Yeah, it's when Mare sneaks out of it's when Mare sneaks out of the palace to see her family and like meet up with some revolutionaries. Um so Cal helps her like escape the palace to go see her family, even because they hadn't like heard from her in in a while, and they didn't know that she like got engaged to a prince, which is like super surprising to them. And oh, so yeah, so she goes to see her family, and then she like gets back into the palace and has gone on her day after that. So the next one is when Mare and Maven meet up with some revolutionaries and stage a attempted coup. So they set off a bomb in like the main silver area, which is Archeon. So they set off a bomb in Archeon, and they try to get Cal's help to stage a coup against Cal's father, which is a king, so they can like help Reds and whatever. This doesn't work, and Cal basically turns them in. He arrests them on he arrested them on the spot, and like forces them to um like arrest them and like force them to stand like in front of the king and stuff. And the last major event like happens like right after this. That's what I'm going to talk about. This is the betrayal. This is when Maven like he comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I was never on your side," and then he gets his mom, Queen Lara, to mind control Cal and the king, and she forces Cal to decapitate the king so Maven can become the new king, which is like it was like super surprising. It's like the main plot twist, and that was like the climax of the series. I mean, that's a good fact. Let me see the book. I was telling you about the beginning of the book. So the beginning of the book is it starts off with Mare pickpocketing some in the stilts. The stilts is an area with where like a lot of the Reds reside. So Mare just like pickpocketing in the crowd. She's like stealing a lot of stuff for her family, so she can have like money, and so she can like help them out and stuff. Because she's not good at anything, and she can't get a job because jobs are really scarce, and people without jobs are usually just sent off to war, to help out there instead of like staying safe. So jobs are like really scarce. So Mary is pickpocketing. She hangs out with Kalorn. Kalorn is her friend. He's a fisherman in training. He has a job so he won't get conscripted. He won't get sent off to war. And so they go to an arena. So they go to a mandated like a required um arena attendance where like all Reds are forced to go into arena and watch some two silvers fight each other for like entertainment or whatever. Like it's for entertainment for the silvers, but it's like it's just a death battle. And And they're just happy to still see Silver blood because the Silvers are so high and mighty, or whatever. And then Kalorn finds out that his master dies, so he has to find a way to not get conscripted. So he starts like they like so Mare and Kalorn meet up with some of the revolutionaries who want 2,000 crowns to them for them to get smuggled across the border. So Mare has to come up with that. So she goes to the silver area to try and pickpocket silvers for like to get 2,000 crowns because the silvers are really rich. Obviously, that doesn't work. She gets caught, and she gets caught by Cal, fortunately. So Cal is like feels bad for her and gives her a job at the palace, where she eventually gets her powers. Okay. What is a problem in the book and how is it solved? The problem is basically just racism. It doesn't really get solved at all. It'll probably get solved at the end of the series, but I'm only in book one. I'm only on book one. So yeah. What Oh yeah, also I mean the problem is also that Mare had to like hide her identity, but at the end of the book she doesn't really have to because everybody finds out anyways. So now she doesn't have to lie anymore. She felt like she was lying the entire time. Uh it gets solved by she gets betrayed and then she gets like put up in front of everybody and she gets to show off her lightning powers, which is like to the world, which is like super weird. But I mean, super weird to everybody because only Silvers can have powers, and here's this red girl who like has powers, just like, shooting lightning out of her fingers and stuff. Yeah, which is weird. Sorry, I have to record this like 3 times. So my jaw hurts. What was the author's purpose in writing the book? Author's purpose in writing the book is tell the interesting story of to tell an interesting story about like racism or whatever, and to maybe just get to maybe give her perspective on racism or whatever, like to tell a story about like romance, because there's a bit of romance in the story and it's kind of unneeded, but there. Explain how the setting of the story made the book more interesting. Well, the setting of the book mostly takes place in a palace where Mare is surrounded by cameras at all times. So it made everything super suspenseful because Mare couldn't do anything or go anywhere without being seen. And even when there weren't supposed to be any characters around her, Mare stated that she could feel the electricity humming around her, meaning that she was being watched by the cameras, like invisible cameras. So she was like always on edge and made everything so much more suspenseful and immersive. Oh, I skipped the question. If you could continue the story, what events would you include? If I could continue the story, um, I'd include more interactions with Mare and her servants, like her red servants. While she was playing the part as Marina Titanos, she had servants that like dressed her up every morning, but she never talked to them and they never talked to her. She even regretted that she never talked to them, which I feel she should have done more. Like, maybe got in a relationship with them, like maybe got to know their names because she's a red as well. And they probably should have known that too, because the servants had to like pet like put like white powder on their face, like keep the red from showing. Did this book remind you of anything that happened to you? What and why? I mean, the book is about racism and stuff and betrayal. Um, I've been, I guess I've been like, I've experienced racism before, but who hasn't, I guess. Um, I've been called Hegwei, which means black devil in Chinese. And the people in the book, the soldiers in the book called red devils. So I can actually translate red devil, Hongwei. Okay. And I don't think I've never been betrayed in real life as well, so I hope that never happens. Did this book give you any new thoughts about yourself or your life? No, not really. Um, I just not really. Is there a lesson? Yeah, no. Oh, never mind. I answered too. Yeah, there's not. It didn't really give me any new lesson about my life. It's just about racism and betrayal. Actually, I don't really. It doesn't really like tell it in a compelling way, so it didn't really make me reflect that much. So, if your novel happened in a foreign land compared to the United States, so the novel happened in Norta. So Norta is a um is a land of silvers and reds. So the reds are the lowest class, and the silvers are the higher class, and the reds are treated as servants, and the reds are also sent out to war to die for the silvers. So they're basically like livestock to the silvers. And in Norta, Norta is a monarchy. The United States is not a monarchy; it's a democracy. Um, and here everybody is not treated as livestock. We're treated equal. You know, it's all equality over here and freedom and stuff. So it's way better than we have in Norta. No matter how much some people would like to say it's like Norta, it's definitely not. Okay. Provide 5 words to describe a character in your book and explain your choices. All right, I'll choose Alara, Queen Alara. She's my favorite character in the book. She is powerful, she's authoritative, um, she's very mean. She's very mean. Uh, um, very controlling and power hungry. So she's powerful because she can mind control people, and that's a very broken power. She's authoritative because she uses her power to like make people kneel before her. So she demands respect because she really wants power. Uh, she's very rude to the mayor because she's a red and silvers are not like nice to reds. What was this one again? Make one up. She's very loving for her son because at the end of at the end of the book, she like despises her husband because her husband never really loved her son. That's what she thinks at least. And I'm not gonna answer that. All right, what's the next question? Compare this novel to the last novel you read. I read Cruel Crown before. I read Red Queen, and Cruel Crown is the prequel to the Red Queen. Is a prequel to Red Queen. So it's like it talks about Queen Corian, the previous queen before Alara. It talks about how Alara murdered Queen Corian, and yeah. What part would you change in this book and why? Um, if I were to change a part, I would change the part where Cal and Mare kissed. I would make it so that they don't kiss. I would just make sure they share their special moments of kissing, because them kissing is kind of what set Maven off. He like set him on this dark path because Maven wanted Mare, and he felt like Cal stole Mare from him. All right, interesting character. I'll just choose Mare. Choose one interesting character from your book. Think of what that character's likes and dislikes are. So Mare, uh, she definitely dislikes school. Definitely dislikes classes. And said in the book that she never got good grades. She hated tests. She definitely likes sports. Definitely likes hanging out with her family. Uh, and spending time with her brothers who went out to like where she barely gets to see. Okay, and who do you think the author intended to read this book and why? I think the author intended for women to read this book because I feel the main character is very insightful emotionally, and I don't think men are as insightful emotionally because there are two love interests in this. There are two love interests, two male love interests, and their brothers and their princes, and the main character is female. I feel like this is like the setup for like most female like romance dramas or whatever. And she likes flip flops between them a lot. Eventually ends in betrayal. But I think and she's always like, oh, this isn't you, Pookie Bear, or whatever. And she's like, oh, I see the boy inside you. He's came back, whatever. I feel like that's something, it just sounds like something like women would like, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's like this would say, but it just seems like something generic. I don't know. In the event of a disaster, you could only save one character from the book. Who would it be and why? I would save Mare because she's like the fire of the revolution. She's a red who has superpowers, which is super rare and like not many have it. We only find out that some have it at the end of the series. I mean, at the end of the book. So she's like, we need her. She's like the main thing we need, and people have already seen her. So she's already been broadcasted. So she's like the thing that like gives people hope, the Reds hope. Is the title fitting for the book? Explain. Yeah, the title's fitting for the book. It's called The Red Queen. It's called Red Queen. Uh, and in the book, Maven does say that Mare could have been his Red Queen, but she chose Cal, so she couldn't become the Red Queen. So it matches up. So I think at the end of the series, she'll definitely become the Red Queen. That she'll definitely become the Red Queen. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye.